These are the sounds of the Stadium of Light. Sunderland versus Leeds United in the Premier League. First up for us with Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Well, this will make you feel old. It's the first meeting in the top flight between these two since Boxing Day 2002, and a certain James Milner was on the score sheet that day at the age of just 16, and he's still playing at 39, and he still looks as fit as a fiddle.
He's still a fantastic player, yeah. But it's great to see these two fabulous big clubs playing against each other.
We are underway. Sunderland in their red and white striped shirts and black shorts are playing from right to left as we look. And Leeds United, just as they did that day when James Milner and Robbie Fowler on the score sheet, are in their chain strip of all royal blue. Two teams I'll give you in a moment, but just wait, this Sunderland have got an early throw on this near side to the left. They've made the one change. Ballard, we're expecting him to be out for 5 weeks with an Achilles injury. So Sirkin comes in for Ballard. Mukiele moves in to partner Alderete at the heart of their defence, with Hume and Sirkin as right and left back respectively. Hume switching flanks. So we wait for Mukiele to deliver this throw from this near side to left. Kept alive inside the penalty area. Adingra with the shot and takes a deflection and behind for a corner kick. Rigg, Xhaka and Hertrauder in the midfield. Adingra, Brobby and Lefay complete that Sunderland side. Leeds United, all in blue, have got everybody back defending. They've named an unchanged side from the team that played against Crystal Palace and dispatched them by 4-1. But it's a corner kick on this near side to left for the home team. In it comes now, headed away from a crowd of royal blue shirts. Perry is in goal, back three of Rodon, Strauch and Biol. Bogle and Goodmanson are the wing-backs, right and left respectively. Ampadu, Stack, Aronson, Okafor and Calvert-Lewin. What sort of a game are you expecting today?
I really do hope for an open one. I think Sunderland just love to attack, particularly at home, even if they get players out. And as I say that, they've already got a corner, they've already had a long throw, they've already got up the left-hand side 3 times in a row. This is a team that are fearless for me. So I think they're very, very open, they're an enjoyable team. It should be an attack-minded attitude. And Leeds United, well, you mentioned it before, they're scoring quite freely just now in the last 4 games, aren't they? So I would hope for certainly plenty of chances and hopefully quite a few goals.
Another throw on this near side to left, level with the penalty area. Mukiele right up against the advertising hoardings. In it comes now. It's a looping, drifting throw into the penalty area, volleyed away by Bogle, only as far as Hertrauder. Passes the ball back, and then the ball is switched out towards Adingra, and he's going to have to climb high to keep that in play, but did it ever so well, helped out by Mukiele, and then cleared long by Ampadu. There is Robin Roofs, midway through the Sunderland half, able to bring the ball under control, and no immediate pressure from Calvert-Lewin on the Sunderland keeper as he just knocks it short to Omar Alderete, who celebrated his birthday on Boxing Day. The Paraguayan international turned 29.
Do you know one player I was looking at right away there, and he said a big part in the game so far is Mukiele. He's playing in that right centre back role that Ballard would have been playing in. Although I think he's playing there, because he's not been there at one point in the game so far, because he's the one up taking that long throw on the left hand side and then just stayed up when the ball was played around his back line. So they're quite fluid the way they play, as again, you know, even though he's a centre back, and look at him now, he's going straight up towards the centre forward position again. That's the positivity I like about Sunderland.
Well, Sunderland, who are one of 2 unbeaten sides in the Premier League. Arsenal are the others, or the other, but there are others, Coventry, Bolton and Bromley, who are all still undefeated in the top 5 divisions in England at home. As Mukiele climbs, and his header is down into the ground and collected by Perry, who, all in orange, throws the ball out towards Aronson, looks to link up with Okafor. The referee, Tony Harrington, will give a free kick to Leeds United just inside the Leeds half for that challenge. But Mukiele has been involved quite heavily already in these opening 4 minutes.
It's incredible, isn't it, for a centre-back? He's been picking the ball up absolutely everywhere. And considering that's not his normal starting position, well, it hasn't been of late anyway, he'll be an interesting one, because when the ball does come up to Calvert-Lewin, Calvert-Lewin has to make a decision. Who's he going to go and play against? Is he going to play against Alderete is going to have to play against Michele? We shall find out soon.
Leeds United in possession midway through their own half. Strouk all the way back to his goalkeeper. Biol will make a little bit of a run out towards the right corner of the penalty area as we look. And that allows the goalkeeper Perry to hit the ball downfield, taken neatly on the chest. Not a bad turn either by Calvert-Lewin, but Kylie was there to clear the ball away. Calvert-Lewin with a layoff towards Okafor, who'd made that run in behind him. Dug out by Sunderland, and an opportunity now for Rigg to be on the ball, but they'll get a throw over on that far side. Of course, there'll be the expectation from this crowd here at the Stadium of Light for Sunderland to take the game to Leeds United.
They've got used to it this season. As I said earlier on the programme, they surprised me this season about the bravery that they have, and it doesn't seem to matter who they're playing against. They've had some phenomenal results lately, notably Newcastle, which I think they're still celebrating just now. But they've got used to it, and there's a bit of the fans that, before the start of the season, it must have been a fear of we might not manage, because every team that comes up thinks that. Well, they've had just about half a season now. Keeper seems confident, refs.
Perry passed the ball to Rodon. It was almost cut out by Lefay, and then Brobbery has gone in for a real 50-50 on Rodon. It was one of those where both players were committed. There's nothing wrong with the challenge whatsoever from Brian Brobby, but Rodon has felt the full impact and has stayed down.
The problem he has is Rodon tried to put the ball up. He's not complaining about the tackle because he knows it was just his foot falls through, but if you watch his right foot is planted, and when you get a hit and your foot's planted, it bends over, and that is never a pleasant thing to happen. So his ankle ligaments there have been given a real stretch. That would have been sore. It's not a kick, he's not complaining about the kick, it's the bend of the ligaments, but he seems able to carry on.
Yep, he's wincing and he's hobbling, but Rodon will take the throw, and it goes down the line on this near side. We've been playing for 6.5 minutes on BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app. 0-0, Alderete's clearance. Stack passes the ball out towards Aronson. Leeds United have named that unchanged side that beat Crystal Palace. As Pat says, the way that they're scoring goals 3 times in their last 4 games. They've scored at least 3 now, ever since Daniel Farke in that half-time switch at the Etihad that produced a fight back, but all in the end was to no avail as they were undone by a Foden injury time winner. But in those 4.5 games, they've scored 13 goals with this change of system that really has benefited Daniel Farke, because he was, if you believe the reports, the murmurings were extremely strong on the brink of losing his job, and now Leeds United 6 points clear of West Ham United, who are that last side in the relegation zone. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
Yep, I'm just getting watching Stack coming on the ball. There's another player I've enjoyed watching, good skills as well, good player getting forward from that midfield area quite a lot of the time as well. I mean, you're drawing a lot to Ampadu because he is usually the central player in that Leeds midfield, and he's a skipper and everything, a lot goes through him, and he's an important player to the team. But I like what Stack's been doing recently as well.
Ball headed forward by Biol. Hertrauder with the downward header. Adingra passes the ball back to Sirkin, making his first appearance of the season. Had all sorts of injury problems, Dennis Sirkin. He was an unused substitute against Brighton and Hove Albion last weekend, but his last appearance was actually in the playoff final against Sheffield United. So he will benefit from this run out as Alderete sells Calvert-Lewin a dummy, passes the ball forward. Lefay lets it run through, but Brobby had already moved away, and it went straight through to Biol, and then Rodon, who's still actually struggling. Joe Rodon, he's not moving at all freely from that challenge. He's going to try and run it off for Leeds United, but he's still feeling the effects.
For the listener, when we saw it in slow motion the second time, I think first time, and it looked quite bad. Seen it in slow motion on our monitors here at the game, it looked awful, and I'm amazed that he's actually managed to carry on.
Well, he's battling on at this stage is Rodon, who lays the ball off in field towards Stack. Stack lean in the midfield, controls the ball, passes the ball forward. Aronson inside towards Calvert-Lewin, might run through towards Okafor, lays it off towards Stack, gets the shot away left-footed from inside the D of the penalty area, but it was straight at roofs. 0-0, 9 minutes played.
There's a wee chance that Dominic Calvert-Lewin could have got a free kick there, 19 yards out. There must have been a temptation to take that, but the referee probably rightly so, decided to allow the play to go on. There was a shot on target, he didn't catch it clean enough or strong enough.
First shot of the game in anger in front of this sellout crowd here on Wearside. Not as chilly as it was yesterday, but it's still rather fresh, I would say, here on Wearside 10 minutes in.
It is, the players won't be feeling it at all. I mean, it's been a good lively start to the game, not a great deal in it. I'd say Sunderland probably just about easing it, but I can see a little problem beginning to develop for Sunderland. Left wing back area that Leeds have got going forward there. I think Goodmanson's got into position a few times, he's been totally free, he's just not been spotted yet. If he gets spotted there, they've got a lot of ground to make up. Sunderland leave a lot of space there.
So Sunderland have a free kick on the far side, the right, just inside the Leeds half. It's knocked short, and then Hume will give the ball back to Granit Xhaka, who will run forward and he'll pass it forward on towards the right, and the cross is a deep one, but it's going to go out of play for a goal kick as Sunderland attack what is the north stand here at the Stadium of Light, so high up away towards our left. Because of the way that this roof sort of like overhangs in the main stand here, you can hardly see that top tier. We can only see a fraction of the 3,000 travelling support that have made their way up from West Yorkshire. But they'll be in good voice for a Leeds United side that is enjoying their best form of the season. They've taken 8 points out of 12, unbeaten in 4, 11 minutes played, and Terry being told to hurry things up as he takes the goal kick. Downfield, straight onto the head of Xhaka, heads it forward. Ampadu will be challenged from behind by Brobby in the air. Rodon, who seems to have recovered from that little bit of a knock now, he's running a little bit more at full tilt. And Leeds United with Goodmanson go back towards Stroud. It's been a circumspect start?
No, I thought the first 7, 8, 9 minutes were really quite lively, particularly from Sunderland. But you have to weather that if you're an away team, and Leeds United have actually managed to do that, and they're growing into it now.
Okafor comes forward, looks for Aronson ahead of him, left-hand side of the penalty area. Aronson, well, Bogle was getting forward, but it's gone over his head. It'll be collected on this near side by Stack. He's caught in possession by Adingra. Stack will try and deliver the cross at the second time of asking, headed away by Alderete. Ampadu brings it under control, passes the ball out towards Rodon, and then Ampadu and Leeds United forced back, but still in possession in the centre circle. Stroud out towards the far side. Goodmanson waits. Back it goes to Stroud midway through the Sunderland half. Ampadu, his first touch showed too much of it towards Lefay. He was caught, and the referee will give a free kick.
What Leeds United were trying to do there was manipulate a situation where they could get a flighted ball into the back post for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to attack. Weren't able to do that, but with this free kick they'll get a chance to do that. So, you know, it's about halfway inside the Sunderland half on the left hand side, and Calvert-Lewin certainly be one of those players. But there's plenty of them that are tall enough in that Leeds United team that can go and attack this. Do you know what? They've not had as much of the ball, Leeds United. They still look comfortable to me, and I think they look as if they really believe in themselves here.
Well, it's a free kick, not quite midway through the Sunderland half. Stack will take it, flat delivery, spins through the air, headed on by Biol, headed up rather than away, headed back by Ampadu. Calvert-Lewin with a chest off. Stroud touches it towards Okafor, takes a deflection on its way through, and behind for a corner kick. That was a chance.
It was a chance, and once again the ball comes in there. It's Calvert-Lewin. It's been polite to say making a nuisance of himself, but he just puts his body away and allows the ball to come off his chest. He knows that he's not even going to be able to overhead kick that. Comes down, but he chests it down. That is a really clever little bit of play there. Couldn't quite get it on target with the deflection, but Leeds United, you know, they knew they were going to get it fast hitting at them at the start of the game. Now they're really beginning to come into it.
They're a threat from set pieces. It's an out-swinging corner on this occasion from Stack. Still kept alive by a header by Biol. But from one number 15 to it's another, and Alderete clears out of defence towards Rigg on that far side, unable to get hold of the ball, and Leeds United with combination of Bogle and Rodon see off the danger. Played back down that left-hand side. Okafor runs forward and will... I think he thought it was going to be a corner kick, but the referee, Tony Harrington, up with play, says that'll be a goal kick instead.
You can usually tell by players' reaction, he can't believe it. He's convinced that was his corner kick there, but just for a moment there you saw the pace of Okafor. he gets the ball again halfway inside the opposition half. He thinks of nothing else. I'm going to test my marker for pace, and quite clearly he's got the pace of his marker there, so he'll be doing that again.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin with us here at the Stadium of Light. 0-0, we're in the 15th minute. Nice touch by Hertrauder. And the Dutch international passes the ball out that far side. Hume, ball played back by Hertrauder. Sunderland players are wearing black armbands. That is in memory of Patrick Troyer, the non-executive director, who was announced on Christmas Eve had unexpectedly died overnight at the age of 52. In fact, there was a minute's applause ahead of the game for an individual where Sunderland said he'd played an active role in their journey from League One to the Premier League. Of course, he'll be greatly missed, and our condolences go to his family and friends. That is why the black armbands are being worn, in fact, by both sets of players here today at the Stadium of Light. 0-0.
Obviously we lost John Robertson recently as well. He's one of my favourite players just before Christmas, which was a really sad one. One of the most brilliant players to watch.
And there was a lovely tribute, wasn't there, at the City Ground yesterday in memory of John.
It does tell you, doesn't it, that you don't have to do it one way. There are a million different ways to be a professional footballer, and his was unique.
Certainly was. Part of that great Nottingham Forest side, and then also, as Martin O'Neill will testify as well, he was part of the backroom staff too, and supported Martin in a wonderful way, in his own unique way, I would imagine. 16 minutes played. Sunderland have a corner kick on that far side, the right, and Leeds United have brought everybody back in their royal blue shirts for this corner kick on that far side, the right. Goalless here at the Stadium of Light. Corner swung in now, headed up by Strauch. 4 red and white shirts go for the same ball. 2 of them have actually collided, but it's Hertrauder who will look to deliver the cross. Adingra, does he keep the ball in play? No, lost his balance and fell over. But I think Chris Rigg is still feeling the effects of being clattered into.
Yeah, I think actually he kicked his own teammate there. But the ball's so high up in the air, you cannot look to where you're going. And yeah, the terrible collision in their own box. They both managed to recover from it, I'm sure.
Ball carried out of defence, and then Stack passes the ball to Bogle, took that neatly, delivered across, but blocked by Serkin. Leeds United get a throw near side the right, level with the penalty area on the right hand side. 17 minutes played.
Ampadu will come and take this one. He's at every single time he comes. There's not a lot of space here at Run, and they've got the kind of advertisement hoardings right up against it. There's only 2 or 3 yards to run, and considering both sides have got long throws that they want to use, but Ampadu, I'm sure he's capable of putting it right in there.
10 yards up from the corner flag. In comes the throw on this near side the right. Strout looks for the flick on. Rigg pivots and volleys the ball away. Okafor then has impeded Lefay off the ball, but not out of the eye of referee Tony Harrington, and the free kick has been awarded and taken. And Xhaka sees an area to run into, and he's already over the halfway line on that far side the right. Ball played back to the influential Swiss international. Here is Hertrauder. Alderete will give it back to the former Arsenal man. Been such a key signing for them, hasn't he?
To be honest, you look around the key signings and it seems to change every week for Sunderland, doesn't it? I think, oh, he's the main man, then it's somebody else. And that's really what you want if you're a team that's going to survive in this league. You need enough strength and depth.
He's got to be careful today. A yellow card would see him miss the visit of Manchester City on New Year's Day. But here is Xhaka. Looks for the forward ball. Serkin is advanced. Level the penalty area, the left back. On this near side, plays it out towards Adingra. Adingra skips it away from the challenge of Aronson. Back towards Xhaka. Passes the ball to the Ivorian. Left out of the Ivory Coast squad. His cross takes a deflection. He takes a bit of spin on the ball. And in the end, it was Goodmanson who was alert and now will run clear with it for Leeds. Okafor goes ahead of him. Goodmanson, though, caught in possession by Rigg. Rigg back into the centre circle. Xhaka challenged by Aronson. Tempo's just picking up, Pat.
Yeah, and I want to keep it going that way. And I think both teams work well when the tempo is high, but Leeds in particular, when they break, particularly with their wing backs, they look very, very dangerous. They don't go sideways, they just go forward very, very quickly. Whereas it's a little bit more circumspect when you watch the Sunderland play. They want to get the ball on the deck, they want to get it to the wide players who will then do a bit of dribbling. And so far, it's hard to put them apart.
Alderete tries to roll the ball into the channel for Brobby, who tried actually to roll away from Beale. But Beale used his strength and just did enough to hold him up, and then it was collected by Perry, the Leeds keeper, who will now have to clear long after getting a back pass to him. Puts his right foot through that, strikes it downfield. Calvert-Lewin backing in towards Alderete. The blue shirts can go forward for Leeds. 20 minutes played, still Sunderland 0, Leeds 0.
They're trying to manipulate at Leeds United to get, because it's a 3-5-2, they've got two up front, and you'll often find it is 2 against 2. It's Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be playing against the two centre-backs of Michele and Alderete. It's very unusual to get that these days, isn't it? Because you've usually got a single striker and they've usually got two men marking, one in front, one behind, or one falling off. Whereas the way Leeds play it just now, they're getting those one-on-ones now and again.
Well, whilst we've talked about how the change of system has seen them in and amongst the goals of late for Sunderland, they've just scored 1 goal in their last 3 games. And when I arrived here this morning, bumped into the club photographer Ian Horrocks, and I said, not expecting many goals today, but he said he was expecting an open game. And we said, right, we will reconvene at the end and see who's right.
I was hoping. We'll give them that, absolutely give you that. It's a very open game. Both teams are trying to attack just now. Both completely committed to the systems, which leaves 1 or 2 little weaknesses, at the back for Sunderland, because they're going to leave themselves open because they are pushing that many players forward. They've got 4 out-and-out attackers out there, 1 striker and 3 behind, who are just total attackers. So it's going to leave a bit of space for Leeds to go into.
Aronson, forward ball on the right. Bogle, early cross in, cut out. Sirkin then helps it further away at left back, helped on by the head of Adingra. It'll roll out of play for a Leeds throw.
Do you notice that when Bogle goes down the line there? They're getting lots of opportunities with Goodmanson and Bogle get, as I mentioned before, the wing backs. But you've got to put the ball in. You've got to put it at the back post. And Okafor and Dominic Calvert-Lewin were sat waiting for that ball, and he played it low. It's the last thing they're looking for there.
Well, Leeds are attacking on that left-hand side. The ball is played to Strout, but he sort of like resorts to a trot. With the exception of Beale, who's on the ball now in the centre circle, every blue shirt was forward in the Sunderland half. Again, it goes out towards that far side, the left. Okafor, infield, Aronson gets the ball back, passes the ball to Goodmanson, who's stayed out wide, level the area. Here he is once again, Goodmanson. Back then for Aronson to Strout. Ampadu. Sunderland have every red and white shirt back behind the ball, still goalless midway through the first half. Rodon caught by Adingra.
He didn't need that. That's the same foot again. And to be honest, I think he might have got the ball. I think that's just a weakness in his from the previous injury. It's exactly that same angle, isn't it?
It is.
Right ankle.
And he is writhing in agony. Just when he's probably recovered, as you say, the last thing he needed was another forceful challenge.
Yeah, and it's just part of the game.
But he got...
and he's bent it the same way again. Oh, that's horrible. Really, you don't need... he's obviously slightly damaged it. Well, I say slightly damaged. It looked more than slightly damaged first time. But he's kind of run it off and it's kind of holding it together. The last thing you want is exactly the same thing to happen. Your foot to be planted and the ligaments to be strained yet again. It is one of the most painful, in the moment when it happens, it really is one of the most painful injuries, the ankle one.
But Adingra did get the ball, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think there's no one complaining about it. And rightly so, there's no one complaining. Just sometimes you get that, and I tend to see that a lot in you watch games on telly back and they say, oh look, there's a contact there, it must be a red or a yellow card, and you're thinking, well wait a minute, you have to take the entire context into it. And the one that jumps out to me was the Spurs one against Xavi, who is sent off against Liverpool for tackling Van Dijk the other day. Yeah. And he had he didn't mean it. I watched it really
Xavi
closely.
Simons.
Yeah, Simons. He didn't mean it. He, at no point in time did he look at the ball. He was just running, and it looks terrible when you go and you look at it as a supporter. You go, he's done him there. His legs, he's gone right down the back. His heel. In actual fact, at no point did he look at it at all. And this is the same here. There's no attempt, and I don't think it's a reckless challenge either. He's getting in where the ball is, so that's why there's no complaint from most of the players, to be honest.
Well, that right ankle has been certainly tested and retested with those two challenges from Brobby and then Adingra. Sunderland fans are getting frustrated that he's still on the pitch, but quite rightly they're taking due care and attention, and only now has he been helped up, but he is he's hobbling heavily.
It's a lot to ask to carry on from that, to happen twice. Once I said right at the start there when it happened the first time, quite impressed with him and getting up again, because that looked really quite bad. Exactly the same thing to happen to you again. It's so weird, so unusual. And it's not because there's a weakness there, it's because again it was a tackle and his foot was planted.
This will test the resolve of Rodon, who's trying to run it off as temporarily Leeds are down to 10. The game resumes 0-0, 26 minutes played. Aronson, short ball inside, Calvert-Lewin back to the American international, and then Bogle passes the ball back to Biol. Strouk will just have to accelerate a fraction as he helps him on its way towards the left to Goodmanson, and then the back-pedalling Strouk gets the ball, and Leeds are being forced back by Sunderland at the moment. Rodon looks like he is able to return as Perry sweeps it downfield, and to his credit he runs back on for a second time, does Rodon, but still not running freely.
Well, football is so vicious at any level, but particularly at this level. If you're Sunderland, you've got to get it out there. You've got to get somebody running at him. You've got to do it. It's just the way it is.
I was thinking exactly that then, and Adingra is actually calling for the ball now. He's made the little run in behind Bogle, the right wing back, but at the minute, Robin Roofs, all in black with a little bit of a red stripe going down the side of his goalkeeping outfit, has the ball and no pressure at the back. He's outside of his area and passes the ball forward to Xhaka. 27 minutes played, 0-0, 5 live. The first of our two commentaries, as Selhurst Park is our next one. Crystal Palace against Tottenham at 4:30. Hertrauder, Adingra, Rodon goes into the challenge with Sirkin, and off the knees of Rodon. He then has to accelerate because Adingra had made a little dart. It was made that little feint, so I'm going to make the run in behind for a quick one off from the throw from the left, and that just forced Rodon into an acceleration.
Did you cringe when Rodon went into the tackle there? Because I did, on his behalf, thinking please don't make that happen again, but he seems a little bit better now.
McKaylee with the throw, near side the left, another long one into the penalty area. Calvert-Lewin is back, picked up by Xhaka, sends it through, good ball, Adingra, good goal, Sunderland lead, and Adingra's first goal for the club, right-footed, far right-hand side. Sunderland 1, Leeds United 0. Delightful through ball, pierced the Leeds defence, and Adingra made no mistake.
Well, he made no mistake, but it's a difficult angle. I mean, there's only one place you can put that ball there. Yeah, he's only about 10 yards out, but he's coming from a really, really difficult angle. He has to almost hit the back post when it's played through. There's another goal coming from a long throw there, but the through ball was absolutely magnificent. They will look for offside, and it is very, very tight. If I had to make a guess, I think that's absolutely fine. But you cannot ignore, perfectly commented by yourself there, the ball by Xhaka is brilliant. He sees all the problems, all the difficulties that Leeds United have got by trying to run out as a unit, as a single unit, and they've not got out in a straight line. Rodon can't get across, and just noticing as the ball goes past Rodon, you have a look at him, he limps in the way past, as if he can't go out and close down. You know, even just that little moment, that little second, that may well be the thing that's allowed that goal to stand and go ahead. But take away nothing from Adingra. Beautiful, beautiful finish.
There will be that VAR check, as a matter of course, for offside.
It's tight.
It is tight.
Very tight.
To the naked eye, though, you'd say just onside.
Yeah, I mean, I still think you're talking centimetres. I don't think you're talking a lot. But as I said about Rodon, just as he went out, and he would have been the man to close it down, he doesn't get out quick enough. And the ball is played on, and they've got it up in the... Does that say onside? I think they're actually showing it as onside.
Yeah.
Up in the... The fans haven't noticed it yet. We usually get used to waiting for information from elsewhere, but they've showed it, I think, by mistake on the big board.
Rodon, in the meantime, has actually gone down. The two physios have been called on for a third time to treat the Welsh international, but he's not able to continue on this occasion, and he's going to have to be replaced, and Rodon is hobbling off, and it means that Tanaka is going to come on, the Japanese midfielder. So I'm assuming that, well, is there a change of system, or does Ampadu drop back into the back three?
You took the words out of my mouth. That's the first one I would think of, Ampadu going back there. Perfectly capable of playing there, played a lot there in his early days at Chelsea, so he will be comfortable if he has to go back there. Tanaka actually, another lovely footballer, absolutely brilliant on the ball, but sometimes wants a little bit more time than you're going to get in the Premier League, so he'll have to be on his mettle for this one. Coming on, goal down, his team losing one of their major players in Rodon there. It's going to be a tough one for him. He's going to get his first touch.
So the goal stands and the game resumes. Tanaka has come on, and it is Rodon who has gone off. For the time being, Ampadu has stayed in the midfield, and I think they've switched to a flat back four now.
That's interesting. We'll see, Ampadu may well be really deep now, almost drop into the back three now and again. But you're absolutely right, it does look like a back four at the moment.
Sunderland 1-0 up, and Adingra on his 11th appearance of the season. They might be missing 6 players at the African Cup of Nations, but the one who was left out of the Ivory Coast squad has remained the remaining African player, and the Ivorian scores to benefit with his first goal for the club, and he actually took it very, very well. It was a nice little bit of curl on it from Adingra. As battling for the ball is Herr Trauder. Sirkin bites into the challenge. Aronson. Tanaka helps it on its way out towards that far side. Now an opportunity to run forward for Okafor. Goodmanson going on ahead of him, crosses the ball early from the left-hand side. Alderete was alert and puts the ball out of play for a throw.
Well done, Leeds. Good reaction there down the left-hand side. That's where they've looked probably most dangerous in this game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he'll be cursing himself for not getting to that near post first. But you have to say, good defending. But once again, Leeds United doing the things that they like to do most: get it wide and get it in the box.
So it's going to be a long throw coming in from that far side. 12 minutes to go to half-time on 5 Live, and Sunderland, who started the day only 2 points off a European place, are leading by a 1-0. Flicked on by Stroud, off the thigh of Alderete. Tanaka lifts it back into the penalty area, headed out by Lefay. Leeds United all in royal blue. Tanaka, the substitute, goes down the right-hand side, gets a corner kick off the chest of Sirkin, and Leeds United looking for a positive response as they trail.
Yeah, and it's and Tanaka had been starting up until recently as well in one or two of the games, and as I say, he's a really nice player, and he's actually started his little start of this game really well. He's got on the ball 2 or 3 times. He's really comfortable. It looks as if he's at the pace of it already.
Stack with a corner from the right-hand side. The header from Biol was straight at Roofs, and it was a comfortable take with both hands at around head height. Underarm throw out to Sirkin. I'm not too sure how alert Sirkin was. Caught in possession. Stack now on the right-hand side, enters the penalty area, but there weren't many supporting blue shirts, and he had to go for goal. As a result, he wins a corner kick off the legs of Alderete.
Well, there's only one supporting blue shirt, and of course it was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he was looking for the ball, and he's complaining about not getting it, but he had actually come well be in front of the front post. So if you hand it to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, there's nothing much you can do about it other than maybe play a 1-2 with the player himself.
Arms aloft from Stack. Corner kick again on the right. It's another outswinger. Alderete heads it away, headed further clear by Rigg on the edge of the area. Herr Trauder ushers everybody out. Those red and white shirts now do create quite a high line, and then Lefay is the one who's pressing, and in the end Perry has to clear it downfield. Calvert-Lewin with McKaylee tight behind him. Goodmanson lets the ball settle the left back towards Strout. Good noise inside the Stadium of Light. Sunderland looking for what would be a 6th win here at home. They've actually already got more points than the last time they were in the Premier League, their entirety when at their last Premier League stay, when they were relegated with 24 points. This win would take them on to 30.
Just let it settle down a little bit, and it has gone to a back four, but as I suspected, when they're in play, Ampadu will take the ball from that central midfield area, central defensive area.
Stack pushed on, sends over the cross, over the head of Calvert-Lewin inside the area, headed away by Sirkin. Ampadu caught him, just a coming together, and then the handball by Tanaka, and that will be a free kick to Sunderland midway through their own half. So less than 10 minutes to go to the break, Pat, and Sunderland lead by a goal to nil. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was possibly their first opportunity at goal.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, they've got themselves in really good positions. They've worked incredibly hard as well. Remember, they're playing against what can be a back five as soon as they get into possession, so they'll get a limited number of chances. However, as I said before, they've given themselves the right to get a little bit of space now. Leeds have had to change their system a bit, and that should allow a bit more space for the likes of Lefay and Rigg to get in behind that defence.
McKaylee floats a ball forward. A long chipped ball that was looking for Brobby to make that run in behind. Okafor has been fouled. The referee will give a free kick. Ironic cheers I can hear from up in the I was going to say up in the gods away towards our left, but they're probably just as high as those travelling supporters from Leeds United.
Certainly a bit, because it's a great view of the game here and the way the system's changed for Leeds United. They don't look discomforted by it in any way, but at the moment what gets me most of all is the pace and the closing down you get from Sunderland. They don't give anyone a chance in that midfield, do they? They seem to have boundless energies, and the times I've seen them before this season, I keep on thinking, right, well, you'll tire, you'll allow a little bit of space, but they don't always, and they've been able to make changes. Maybe that might be more difficult for them this time, with 6-7 players missing.
Well, they've got a number of youngsters on the bench, with half a dozen players away at AFCON. Bogle, challenged by the goal scorer Adingra, held off that challenge and then passed the diagonal ball back towards his goalkeeper Perry, who digs it out, strikes it long, left-footed. Calvert-Lewin climbs high and heads it back towards Tanaka, the Japanese international. Bogle on this near side, short ball towards Aronson, allows him to come on the inside of Sirkin, and then the ball is helped on its way by Stack towards Okafor on that far side to left, level the area, but he miscontrols the ball and allows Hume to clear it for Sunderland. Rigg pushes the ball past Stack. Ampadu was alert, and Ampadu will pass it all the way back towards Perry.
After me saying beforehand in the game that Okafor has been brilliant recently, he's had the ball twice and tried to run at his defender and basically ran straight into him and tripped over his own feet and then tripped over the ball. But as long as he keeps on trying to do the right things, he's definitely a player that can cause some problems for Sunderland.
Sunderland actually have the most amount of players in the Premier League who are away at AFCON, with 6 as Beale's forward ball. Calvert-Lewin did well. Aronson opening. What a save that was! Hume with a goal line clearance. It actually beat Roofs, but the right back with a goal line clearance has somehow made sure that Sunderland still lead by a goal to nil. Here's Aronson again. Can't keep the ball in play. Goal kick.
Great piece of play by Leeds anyway. Ball played into Calvert-Lewin, and instead of trying to head it towards goals, he tries to settle with his teammate though. I wonder if Roofs did have a pretty good save in the midst of this as well. I thought he did. Oh, that's your right defender in there behind him. A brilliant piece of defending that is. Well spotted, Mr. Ian Dennis. Because the keeper, all the fans are all saying Roofs, Roofs. They think it was him. It wasn't. It had gone past him and the defender had covered behind him. That is the epitome of a goal-saving clearance.
And Aronson just could not believe that it didn't go in.
Done everything right, and a lovely piece of play by Leeds there. Again, it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he's not going for a goal. He understands, look, there's very little chance of him scoring from that angle there, even though it's come to him about 8-9 yards out, and he lays up his teammate, and it really cut the team open by a long distance. The best opportunity that Leeds have had in the game so far.
They've actually had 3 opportunities to Sunderland's 1. Adingra took that opportunity for Sunderland and they lead 1-0, but Okafor is coming forward, but Leeds will be encouraged. The shot takes a deflection, but it came off, I think, Calvert-Lewin. It'll go out for a goal kick to Sunderland, and we've got 5 minutes to go to half-time.
Did you think it took a deflection? So did I.
Well, I did, but when he said a goal kick, I just assumed it was Calvert-Lewin.
I have to say I'm quite confused with that as well, because I thought that was quite clearly off a Sunderland player there as well. That's twice that's happened to Okafor in the game so far. He thought he should have got a corner kick and didn't get one. I think it's beginning to feel a bit personal for him out there. A little better for Okafor that time there. Got past his first player and had a shot towards goal.
Daniel Farker, in fact, is complaining to the 4th official as well about that, probably that same very point. Simon Hooper, the 4th official.
I think we both agreed, didn't we? That took a deflection.
And Roos clears downfield, but there is encouragement for Leeds United as Okafor again will run away from Hume and carries the ball to the left corner of the area, delivers the cross. Aronson trying to meet it. Serkin, though, is tucked in the left back to head it away. Downward header by Ampadu. Stack. Certainly, Leeds might be behind, but they're still very much in the game.
No, and more than in the game. I don't think there's much between the teams. Obviously, it's the goal, but the amount of good play, the amount of control of the ball, the comfort in the ball, and getting into dangerous positions. Leeds are at the very least, the equal of Sunderland here, so they shouldn't be too downhearted of it. And as I said before, Okafor now is actually beginning to get into a little bit more of a game, so that will be a worry for Leeds.
He tried to drill it over, it struck his own player, Goodmanson. Hume can't slide the ball away, it was blocked and it will go out for a Sunderland throw. I also think, though, there is an appreciation from the crowd here inside the Stadium of Light that they know Sunderland are missing 7 players. They're leading by a goal to 0. Then they're happy to allow the game plan to be for Regis Lebris.
Do you know what? Yes, but I would say something else. There's a realism in this place, in this city generally, but also there's a realism about Sunderland Football Club, about where they're being and where they're trying to get to and how far ahead of the curve they are at this point in time. I mean, there are some clubs who sometimes feel a wee bit entitled. That's not what you get feeling around here, is it? They're really delighted at where they are and just want to get behind their team.
Ball played out by Stack. Bogle takes it on the chest as he runs forward on the right, but he's overhit it. And Serkin has sliced his clearance, but Adingra with a swish of the left leg has actually kept the ball in play, but it only goes as far as Ampadu. 2 minutes to go to half-time. 5 live in the BBC Sounds app. Sunderland are ahead by a goal to 0 against Leeds, but it's the away side who are attacking with Okafor. Infield to Ampadu. Ampadu to Tanaka. Played early by Biot. Now towards Bogle. Right corner of the area. Tanaka creates the run on the overlap. It was blocked. Adingra tries to get a foot into the challenge. Here is Aronson. Aronson across the face of goal. And it'll go all the way through. But again, Leeds United knocking on the door.
Yeah, I think they're playing really well. It's one of those ones, you're going at half time, and Daniel Farker look at them and saying, well, that's fine, lads. If you keep on doing that, keep on getting into dangerous positions, keep on putting the ball across the goal, try and find Dominic Calvert-Lewin's head once or twice, that might help. But keep on doing that, the chances should keep on coming, and the goals should come as well. So even though they're 1-0 down and it's a minute and a half or so until half time, Leeds manager won't be absolutely devastated, because sometimes that happens in football.
It's only on the 6th occasion out of 19 games this season that Sunderland have scored first, but in the previous 5 they actually are unbeaten. They've won 4 and drawn 1 when they've scored that opening goal, and for Leeds, their record of when they've conceded first isn't great. They've only come from behind on 1 occasion when they beat Wolves. They've drawn 4 and lost 6 of the other 11 occasions when they've conceded first before today. We're inside the last 60 seconds. Sunderland are 1-0 up, but Leeds are attacking. Stack midway through the Sunderland half, 15 yards in from that left touch line, and now to Beale. Takes it, lifts it forward into the area. Calvert-Lewin beaten in the air by Michele, and it'll go out of play for a Leeds United corner kick far side the left.
Do you know what? It's been a long time since I've put that ball into that area that Dominic Calvert-Lewin can go and attack. And you know the whole place kind of stops when he goes up there, because you know he's likely to win the ball. This time just couldn't get a hold of it. But we're going to see a few minutes here of added time, I suspect.
In comes the corner from the left-hand side, headed away by Sirkin at the near side. We'll find out now. 5 minutes of added time, primarily down to the unfortunate Joe Rodon, who has since left the field. Twice he had a similar injury where he's felt the effects of 2 challenges on his right ankle, but we're into 5 minutes of added on time. There's now a lot of activity as the supporters make their way through the walkways and the gangways here in the Stadium of Light, with the home team leading, and a slender advantage it is, but they have a throw on the far side.
What a psychological change it would be. You know, whoever gets the next goal would be incredible, yes, but for Leeds United, if they could get a goal here and go in 1-1, it would, you know, they would feel absolutely phenomenal about it, whereas it would be crushing for Sunderland. They just want to hold out, I suspect, but we'll see.
Adingra tries to come on the inside of Aronson, blocks it up, and then the ball played back by Tanaka to Bogle. Downfield it will go, and it will drift out of play for a Sunderland throw.
You just imagine at this point in time, Granit Xhaka saying to the players around him, right, okay, this is when we slow it a little bit, you know, don't throw too many men forward at the same time. If we can get to half-time 1-0 and get the odd break between now and what will be the 50th minute when this game goes to half-time, that's the way you should play it.
Sirkin, Hertrauder, that was a heavy back pass that just forced Roofs to accelerate a little bit more than he probably would have liked. He's got it out to this near side. Alderete goes long, Beale heads it forward for Leeds. Xhaka, lay off there by Lefay, chip forward by Rigg. Brobby could be onto this. Brobby's own goal, didn't have enough on it. Now, was he caught by Perry? But his right-footed effort at goal was rather tame, and it was easily cleared.
Well, the ball by Lefay was fantastic, wasn't it? It was a real David Silva type pass there through on him. Question whether the goalkeeper should have got there quicker, but he didn't just enough.
Sunderland have worked out the Leeds United press, and they've beaten it, and now the counter-attack is on, and Adingra running forward, coming in off the left touchline, edge of the area. Adingra with a cross, Brobby with a header, touches the crossbar and goes over. That could easily have been a second goal for Sunderland.
What a beautiful cross by Adingra. They've broken with such pace there. They could have maybe had a shot for that angle there, but give your centre forward a chance to go and attack something. Curled into the back post, found them perfectly, bullet header, and it actually hits the crossbar and goes over the top. 2 amazing chances there in the last minute or so for Sunderland, and that's purely because Leeds they've pushed it forward, haven't they? They've left spaces there. They want to try and get in at half-time, you know, level, but if they do that too much, they're going to leave too many gaps, and this Sunderland team looked really good in the break.
Well, I said it touched the crossbar. It was more than a kiss, it was a heavy kiss, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he really slammed that header. I mean, that header has some power on it as well. We get a little image here of the other chance just before that he had. He slipped it by the keeper. He's never going to get in, but he's then ran into the keeper. That should not be a penalty kick. No chance at all. Referee got that one right.
Should he have scored?
Yeah, he should have. He should have done much better than that. If you're 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and you get to the ball first and he's not right on top of you, you need to get a good strong contact. He didn't. He just got a complete mishit on it. He was completely off balance. Every centre forward expected to score that one.
No goal in his 3 starts for Sunderland since he arrived from Ajax on a 5-year deal for just over £21.5 million, the Dutch international. 2 goals in 12 appearances before today, but certainly his header came very, very close to changing that, but it glanced off the bar, although as a neutral that would have been harsh on Leeds United.
I mean, incredibly harsh on them. I mean, they've got, even since losing the goal, their attitude has been first class. They've controlled the last parts of the game. But getting back to Brobby there, he's getting into all the right position. This is one of those ones where a goal will go in soon, and then suddenly there could be a flood of goals after that. But at the moment, their plan of getting the 3 players behind them, the likes of Reg, Lefay and Adingra, getting balls into them and giving them half chances, well, that's working really well just now.
I remember a few years ago, must have been covering the Dutch at a tournament, and Ronald Koeman was extremely critical of his first touch and his finishing for Brian Brobby, as Calvert-Lewin heads the ball back, and then the back pass by Xhaka, coolly seen back towards Roofs, who didn't seem too troubled by the fact that it was rolling goalwards. Sunderland in stoppage time, maybe an opening for Aronson required. Mukulele to come across and deal with that. Now that play goes for a throw, but there indeed is the half-time whistle, where Sunderland are leading Leeds United by a 1-0. The goal scored from Adingra, his first for the club, just before the half hour. Xhaka's delightful forward ball, Adingra right-footed, right-hand side, curling past Perry. Leeds have had chances, required Hume with a goal line clearance to deny Aronson, and then Brobby with a header glancing the crossbar. Pat Nevin.
Now, the 2 chances that really stick out, obviously the goal that was scored by Adingra, and if you look at that and think about it, he was calm, he knew what he's doing, he wasn't panicking and lashing at it, he just slowed down, and the best goal scorers are the ones that slow down slightly before they finish. But I have to say, that was exactly the same from was it Goodmanson on the outside who come in. Aronson eventually got the ball after it was flicked down by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he tried to pass it in as well, but it was only the defender on the goal line that stopped that as well. Really good game, really open game, really enjoyable game. Don't think the goals are finished yet.
Sunderland 1, Leeds United 0 at the break.
Pat Nevin, if I can use the sort of phrase you might hear on the commentator's view, one of those halves that you just didn't want to end.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think all the fans enjoyed it, even the Leeds United fans. That's the odd thing to say about it, because Leeds have watched their team a few times and they haven't, sometimes you think, what is the plan? Well, you can see the plan there, and by the way, the plan had to change because they went to a different system. Still looks okay, they're still creating a lot of chances, they still are an enjoyable team to watch, and yeah, there are 2 different styles out in the field there, and Leeds are a much more muscular side. It doesn't seem to matter, they've got skill as well. So yeah, lots of good things, a really good first-class Premier League game to watch. Has had plenty of chances and probably deserved more than the single goal that we've got.
The 2 obvious key individual moments are the Trey Hume clearance and the Adingra goal, but also the Xhaka pass for that goal was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was. It's a David Silva pass, isn't it? It's one of those ones where you're in the central and there is only one pass on, but you have to see it at exactly the right moment. You have to deliver it. And it's, I think the word defence splitting is made for that pass, isn't it? Exactly. And it puts it through. But then he's still got a lot to do, Adingra, because there's plenty of players in that situation have a lash at it, keep it on target hard. No, I'll tell you what's better. Take your time, take one touch, or even just slow down and keep your eyes up. Know where the ball is and then curl it into the back post. It was lovely. The keeper might have made it a wee bit easier, by showing him a little bit too much of that back post, but to be honest, I just loved that entire goal. It's one of those ones where if you score it in a 5-a-side game, you love it, don't you?
Oh yeah.
And we've all had one of them.
Defence splitting pass is another good one, Ian, for the glossary. Although I think commentators view it's the Christmas quiz at the minute, isn't it, on BBC Sounds?
I wouldn't bring that up, Steve, it's a sore point.
Okay. No spoilers.
If you've listened to it, there's a few controversial moments in it, and obviously Chris Sutton is involved at the heart of it. And if Ali Bruce Ball is listening, then VAR would definitely have intervened with his refereeing performance.
In fairness, there's a EuroLeague special coming up on that, and I performed terribly as question master, so Ian, Pat, thank you very much. We'll be back at the Stadium of Light for second half commentary. Sunderland 1, Leeds United 0. Let's check in on the World Championship darts. James Gregg.
Well, I teed up this afternoon session by saying that all these players are so tightly bunched in terms of the world ranking and seedings that we could quite feasibly end up with 3 real nippers. Well, it's been anything but, to be fair, Steve. 17th seed Rob Cross pasted Damon Heta, the Aussie Arrowsmith. It took him just 39 minutes, 4-0. Ryan Searle, of course, won earlier as well by the same scoreline over Martin Schindler. And I might be able to go for a long stroll in the Ali Pali Gardens before the evening session if 2-time world champion Gary Anderson and Dutchman Jermaine Wattimena can cook up a similar storm. Both are top 20 players. Anderson, that is the sound of him taking the first set. He's thrown wonderfully well. Remember, Van Gerwen and Humphreys both in their respective last 32 matches tonight as well. So no rest for the wicked on this stunner of a Sunday in North London, Steve.
Thank you very much, James. So before we're back on Wearside for second half commentary, we'll hear from Steve Smith in Melbourne. We'll talk Prem Rugby with correspondent Chris Jones. And we'll be with John Murray for the first time today as well at Selhurst Park ahead of full commentary of Crystal Palace versus Tottenham at 4:30, all after the news on 5 Live with Joe Hornby.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The French President Emmanuel Macron has led tributes to Brigitte Bardot, the film star and campaigner who has died at the age of 91. She appeared in dozens of films in the 1950s and 60s and later became a controversial figure, criticised for making homophobic slurs and fined several times for inciting racial hatred. Our reporter Sebastian Usher says her film career inspired a fashion style that's still popular today.
You could say, she's being objectified to some extent, but also in possession of her own sensuality. I think that's how it was seen at the time, and I think many people would still see it that way. An indelible icon of sensuality and the feminine, that if you walk along the streets of London, walk along the streets of Paris, you will see that on many young people, the way they dress, the way they look. They're still imitating it all these years later.
President Zelensky will hold face-to-face talks with Donald Trump in Florida this evening, aimed at ending Russia's war in Ukraine. Mr. Zelensky is expected to try to secure the US president's backing for a 20-point peace plan. Lee Turner, a former British ambassador to Ukraine, says any deal probably hinges on control of the eastern Donetsk region.
President Putin has been demanding that Ukraine withdraws from this, and the US have been supporting this. But of course, Ukraine doesn't want to do that. And then suddenly, before Christmas, Zelensky said, sure, we can pull back from Donetsk, but the Russians must do the same. They've got to pull back from a similar area of Donetsk to create a free economic zone, a demilitarized zone.
The former leader of the Conservatives, Sir Ian Duncan Smith, has said he regrets calling for a British-Egyptian campaigner's release after historical social media messages emerged showing Alaa Abd al-Fattah apparently calling for Zionists to be killed. The Chingford and Woodford Green MP signed a cross-party letter a year ago urging the government to secure the activist's release. He's now calling for police to investigate what he calls extremist comments posted online. The Foreign Office has called Mr al-Fattah's posts abhorrent. And ministers have announced visa restrictions against the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Home Office said the country was failing to accept the return of illegal migrants and criminals.
The Night Owls is a surveillance unit.
Copy that.
You do not hunt down.
New series of The Night Manager.
I think Teddy has smuggled arms into Colombia.
That's your chance to be a snake in their garden.
Welcome to Colombia. You are not the one in control here.
Starring Tom Hiddleston.
Something's not right.
The Night Manager.
Why are you really here?
Starts New Year's Day on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Sunderland 1, Leeds United 0 in the Premier League. We'll be back for second half commentary shortly. In the Africa Cup of Nations, Mozambique have won their first ever match at the finals. They beat Gabon by 3-2. Our second commentary of the day will come from Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur. Correspondent John Murray is there for us.
Yes.
Merry
Hello,
Christmas.
Steve. Yes, Merry Christmas. And what does the flag of Mozambique look like?
I do love a good national flag.
I know you do. And particular speciality is flags of Africa, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same shape as Equatorial Guinea with the sort of triangle to the left-hand side. I want to say it's green, black and yellow with a red triangle on the side. Are you asking me because you know? Or?
No,
Okay.
I'm not. I knew you would.
Yeah, I do love that. You're right. I shall Google. Big game, they say.
It actually is. And also, it has a bit of a special feel to it, I think, because it's the last match of 2025 for Crystal Palace and for Tottenham. And of course, during the course of this year, Crystal Palace have won the FA Cup, first major trophy in their history, then won the Community Shield, played in Europe also, have played some very, very good football. And while things haven't gone as Tottenham would have liked in the Premier League, obviously they've won their first major trophy since 2008. So for these two to play each other in their last matches of 2025, I think is quite fitting. And actually in the match programme today, Steve, Oliver Glasner, Mark Gay, the captain, and Steve Parish all talk about that, obviously. But the message very much is that Oliver Glasner says the challenge now is not to relax, not to be satisfied with what they've done. Mark Gay says we won't be resting on our laurels. Of course, it probably will not be the case that he'll be a Crystal Palace player this time next year, but we'll see about that. And also Steve Parish says it'll be sad to say goodbye to 2025, and he talks about how the fans helped to keep the club alive in the darkest of days, at the time that he first got involved in the club, and look at them now.
Clearly, we never say never, and you're right. Obviously, I think the feeling is that Mark Gay probably won't be a Crystal Palace player this time next season. However, for fans sort of worrying that he might not be there come the end of January, the feeling is that he probably will see out his contract now, isn't it?
I think that would be the expectation. Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if it was otherwise. I think there is probably an understanding now that he will see it through to the end of the season. And, as he himself says in the programme today, they have the possibility of winning a European trophy. And, OK, they've got a bit of work to do there. They've got a playoff tie in February, but they'd be strong favourites to win it, whoever it is that they play in that playoff tie, and could potentially lift another trophy. I thought they might have had a chance in the League Cup, but that's gone now after Tuesday night. In the FA Cup, the holders will start out at Macclesfield on FA Cup third round Saturday, which I think is an excellent tie.
Yeah. John, thank you very much. We'll be back with John Murray and Sue Smith at Selhurst Park. Palace versus Tottenham in full at 4:30. Once we're done at the Stadium of Light, second half commentary on the way. Rugby Union next. Northampton Saints, top of the Prem. They beat Bath 41-21 last night. That's Bath's first home defeat in 14 months. Correspondent Chris Jones is with us. Afternoon, Chris.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Good. You didn't? I was listening to you on Saturday with Mark Chapman. Didn't see this coming.
Oh, what a result! As you say, we were talking up Bath, and we were saying how well they were looking, how good they were looking, and how well set they were to go and win their title back to back. And then you add into the fact that Northampton were without Alex Mitchell, Finn Smith, Fraser Dingwall, JJ Van der Mesch, Alex Coles, a whole host of frontline players rested by Phil Dowson. He explained it really well afterwards. Really intense period. He just wants to make sure he used this whole squad. But the guys that did play, the fringe players stood up. The gun players for the Saints, we're talking Henry Pollock, Tommy Freeman here. They were awesome. Pollock bagged 2. Freeman nabbed a hat-trick. It was a world-class hat-trick at that. Saints played rugby from the gods in the second half. They are so well coached. They were supremely motivated. And it was a great message to the rest of the Prem that they want their title back, and going into 2026 they show they mean business. It was a great way to finish the year. Brilliant night at the Reg, not for the Bath fans but for the neutral. It was just a magnificent game of Prem rugby.
I suppose what Northampton did as well is they kind of underlined something that we saw from them last season, particularly in the Champions Cup, which is you should never write them off in a big standalone one-off match.
Definitely, and because of what they've done the last few seasons, you're so right to bring up the Champions Cup. They won in Leinster, and teams just don't win in Dublin in the Champions Cup, and they did that on the way to getting to the final. They've won big games on the road. They won in Pretoria against the Bulls last season. They won a big game in Po a couple of weeks ago. So this is the team that even if they are rotating, even if they've not got Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith, their England and Lions halfbacks, they're bringing Anthony Bellew, who was class, Archie McParland, class, and they've just got this great spirit at the club. As I said, they're so well coached, and they just have an ability all to fit into the game plan. It doesn't need to have Mitchell and Finn Smith and Dingwall in there. It could have Hutchinson, Bellew and McParland, and they can still play that same kind of high tempo, intricate, accurate, inventive, enterprising rugby. So it was a bit of a wake-up call for Bath, because I think like most of us, those fans there would have thought that Bath would have won that game with the strength on their bench, particularly in the second half. But yeah, I think Northampton sent a message to Bath and to the rest of the league that they're not going to go anywhere this season. It really does set up, I think, the new year and that run into the playoffs come sort of March, April, May time.
So are there no mitigating factors for Bath in this scenario? Are there things they can point to and say, well, maybe this isn't necessarily a sign of some sort of weakness that's been exploited?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's anything to worry about, particularly for Bath. You know, their forward power is enormous. Their squad depth is enormous. Their half-backs are world-class. I don't think any of that changed. Max Ajoma went off. They looked a bit disjointed in the midfield. Lee Blackett is now coaching in England rather than Bath, so they've just had to work with losing such a high-quality coach in terms of running their attack. I don't think it means that Bath are going anywhere. I think you can still expect Bath to be in the top 2 and get that home semi-final. But, a few Bath fans have messaged in the last 24 hours that actually they've been getting by a bit on the strength of their scrum, the strength of their bench, strength of their forward power close to the line. So maybe just it'll just sort of show Bath that they can't just turn up, even if Northampton are rotating. You've got to in this league be on your game to get the results. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's too much to worry about from a Bath point of view. I think it was more Northampton saying, yep, the league didn't go so well last season, but they were going brilliantly in the Champions Cup. And now I think they're desperate to really fight on both fronts.
So for weekend context then, when you were on with Mark Chapman yesterday, you were talking about what had happened on Friday and what might have happened in the Sale match in the end when it was half time, being surprised by that. Now we're surprised by Bath losing at home. Also didn't really see Newcastle get anything in Bristol, which they did despite losing 36-27. Yeah. So maybe I should ask you what won't happen in Exeter Chiefs, Leicester Tigers.
Yeah, well, exactly, because I'd probably say, look, Exeter are going so well at the moment. They're at home. Chalk that down as a home 5-pointer. But look, Leicester under Jeff Parling look really dogged, which you're always going to get from a Tigers side. As ever, just a little bit to connect in terms of the fluency of their attack. But I think it's been a great couple of weekends for domestic competition, both URC and the Prem. After a couple of Champions Cup weekends where we know the problems that tournament has, as you well know from the final in May, it gets great towards the end of the Champions Cup, but just struggles for narrative all the way through. I think we're really seeing that narrative with the domestic competitions. And I think Exeter and Leicester today, they've just kicked off, haven't they? Two teams I don't see, and famous last words as we've discussed, I don't see competing for the top 2, but they'll be banging the hunt for top 4, both the Chiefs and the Tigers.
Thank you very much, Chris. That's correspondent Chris Jones, Exeter Chiefs, Leicester Tigers, as Chris saying, Sports Extra at BBC Sounds has just got underway. A bit of sad news to bring you. Hugh Morris, former England and Glamorgan opener, went on to become the ECB chief executive, has died at the age of 62. He'd been diagnosed with bowel cancer 4 years ago. So 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, Crystal Palace versus Tottenham on the way in full at 4:30. We'll keep you up to date with the darts. Remember the Battle of the Sexes tennis, very polarising contest. Sabalenka and Kyrgios is live on BBC One inside the next hour, but we're ready to go again at the Stadium of Light with Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Cheers, Steve. Yep, neither side has made a change. Tony Harrington just checks his watch and we'll get this game underway with Leeds in all royal blue, playing from right to left, trailing by a goal to nil against the home side, who are in their red and white striped shirts and black shorts, and therefore they are attacking the south stand away towards our right hand side as Perry goes long and direct, and it's headed away by Xhaka. I'll run through the two teams for you. Roofs is in goal, Hume, Michele, Alderete and Sirkin as the back 4 for Sunderland. Rigg, Xhaka and Hertrauda, Adingra the goal scorer, Brobby and Lefay. And as for Leeds, they made that change in the first half. They did start with a back 3, but since Tanaka came on to replace the injured Rodon, they've gone to a back 4 with in front of Perry the goalkeeper, Bogle, Strauch, Biol and Goodmanson. Tanaka in the midfield with Ampadu, Stack, Aronson, Okafor and Calvert-Lewin, who is in the best scoring run of his career. He's scored 6 goals in his last 5 appearances, but actually hasn't had an effort so far. He was involved with the Aronson goal line clearance by Hume with a nice little layoff, but he himself hasn't had a shot to extend his scoring sequence. But Sunderland are attacking with Adingra and back towards Granit Xhaka. And here's a quirky one for you, Pat. Leeds United's final league game in each of the last 3 calendar years have produced a total of 2 goals. Goalless draw with Newcastle. They lost 1-0 at West Brom in 2023, and then they beat Derby 1-0 last year.
Yeah, which means lots of goals are due. That's the way I take it. Other people take it, they never score goals at this time of the year, but take it the opposite way.
Well, they are coming forward now with Stack, and he quickly passes the ball out with real purpose. Out towards Aronson. Aronson running forward, enters the penalty area right-hand side. Aronson to Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin tucks the ball in. He has extended that scoring run, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the first Leeds player to score in 6 successive top-flight games for 65 years since Johnny McCall. It's his 8th of the season. And that was such a swift attack by Leeds, and 2 minutes into the second half they're level at 1-1.
I mean, you're so quick. I mean, they started the second half pretty well, but they played it out for the back for the goalkeeper. So they'll look at this goal as one that they'll be delighted as a footballing team, because they've played it over to the left, all the way through the midfield. When it gets to Aronson now, far side there, just winger's ball, just runs in towards, doesn't need to beat the player, as long as you pass the ball past him. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin is where Dominic Calvert-Lewin likes to be, in between the sticks. Now this time, I mean, he just gets in front of the defender. He didn't do that earlier on in the game. There was an opportunity to get in front of the defender, he didn't. He did it this time, and he's so confident, he's not even thinking, is he? Flicked in behind him, and it's a fantastic goal. And do you know what? They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it.
They do deserve it. 1-1. The thing is, for me, Pat, was the weight of the ball. As hold on, this is an opportunity now for Rigg for Sunderland on the right-hand side. To Xhaka with a square ball, lets it come across his body, broken up by Ampadu. Pass forward, interception from Bogle. But it was the ball from Stack to Aronson, the weight of the pass that allowed Aronson to go straight away on the attack.
Absolutely. He did not break stride. So you don't have to break stride at all. The defender's going to struggle to catch you. And he just keeps on going, and he drives direct. There's no jink, there's no dribble, there's nothing. He drives direct to one into the box and plays in. And many people have looked at the BBC website last week and saw that all of Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goals have all been scored in a direct straight line from the penalty spot. Bad news, folks. He was much further near the near post, and actually this time he was in front of the near post when he got the touch here.
Really did take it ever so well, Calvert-Lewin. Leeds United have levelled. Sunderland 1, Leeds 1. BBC Radio 5 live, also live on the BBC Sounds app as Okafor comes forward, looks for a little dribble down this near side, the left. Leeds supporters are in good voice high up. Then the ball is flicked on, could be a second here. Bogle, he's nudged it wide. Flag has stayed down too. Aronson with a flick header on, and Bogle running in behind Calvert-Lewin. Think it might well have come off his knees, and it's gone back across the face of goal and agonisingly wide.
Right, well, you're going to see that in Match of the Day tonight, because they're going to say it's a terrible miss. Do you know what? They're hard, those ones. It bounces in front of him. He sees it very, very late, but it bounces up to his thigh. And it's so difficult to get any sort of direction on that sort. But Leeds have started this second half on fire.
Well, that will be a real wake-up call for Sunderland, because so easily Leeds United, 5 minutes into the second half, could be leading by 2-1, and it was just one of those difficult ones to control for somebody running in at pace. Sunderland now. Lefay, left corner of the area, wriggles clear, enters the area down towards the byline. Ampadu goes with him stride for stride, and Bogle's clearance will go out, and it will be a Leeds United throw on that far side, the right.
I loved your set-out to me just before that goal, when you said to me Leeds aren't scoring many goals at this time of year. And I maybe suggested that they're overdue.
Well, I was actually thinking it might reinforce my opinion that it might be a low-scoring affair. However,
we disagreed on that before the game.
Yeah, the evidence of what we've seen so far, 5 minutes into the second half, points to the fact that, not for the first time when we've worked together, Pat, you will be right.
Well, the thing is, they're both as open attack-minded sides. Neither side, at any point in this game, I suspect, will sit back. You know, even if Leeds go 2-1 up, I don't think they'll sit back and just soak up pressure. It's an open game. It's open-minded teams. It's teams that want to attack, that are more comfortable and natural attacking, and that usually leads to chances.
Here is Tanaka. Aronson makes the run forward on that far side, the right, does the little step over, wins a corner kick. Mentioned at the start that this is their first meeting in the top flight since Boxing Day 2002. 23 years ago, Michael Proctor was part of the coaching staff actually here at Sunderland these days, gave Sunderland the lead. James Milner equalised when he was just a mere teenager, and Robbie Fowler provided the winning goal. Maybe history could repeat itself. They have incidentally met 10 times since in the Championship. Sunderland won 4, 3 draws, and Leeds won 3 of the previous 10. In comes the corner kick, and the header straight off the top of the head of Biol was straight at Roofs, who now throws it out underarm. 1-1.
Big moments for Sunderland, because of you almost could say they've been caught sleeping in the second half, because it's so quick. Leeds have come out of the starting blocks, but they look really up for it. They're using their physicality well. That change of system to what is basically a lot of the time looks like a 4-4-2, and it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the front of that, but sometimes it's Aronson, but sometimes it's Tata as well, so they adapt it and change it.
Rigg sprays the ball out towards Adingra, cuts inside, and then on the outside, brought down just outside the area. Referee Tony Harrington says he got the ball. Did Bogle. A yellow card, incidentally, for Bogle would mean he would miss the trip to Liverpool, which is their next match away on New Year's Day.
I've got to give the referee, he's saying he got the ball. The referee is right up there with the play. He's in a brilliant position to see it. And yes, he does hit his knee with the ball undeliberately. I'd give a foul for that, but it is one of those where the referee can say, yeah, we've got to touch it with the ball. But it's kind of one of those ones where, but you brought him down as well, mate.
Adingra is still complaining to Bogle. They're deep in conversation about that particular incident. Aronson runs forward. Alderete comes out of defence to clear, own that far side, but only as far as the blue shirt at Bogle. Passed forward by Ampadu, laid back into the path of Ampadu by Calvert-Lewin, but he was coming back from an offside position, and therefore it will be a free kick to Sunderland. But it's been a very entertaining start to the second half.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. I'm just not surprised because of the attitudes of the teams and the managers. They want to play this sort of way, but you can tell that Leeds have definitely got their tails up just now, and they feel a point's not enough here. They feel they're very, very capable of getting the 3 points, and we do talk, is it 1 win away from home in the league so far this season for Leeds? That doesn't seem to be preying on their minds whatsoever at the moment.
Yeah, they actually have the joint second worst away record in the Premier League. Only Wolves have fewer points than their tally of 4 that they share with Burnley. Wolves just with 1 point on their travels. That was offside. It'll be a free kick to Leeds United. But their form at Ellen Road will more than compensate for their anemic return. 15 of their 19 points have been at Ellen Road, and that was always going to be the foundations for any survival plan for Leeds. As 15 occasions, only one of the promoted sides have gone down. You'd back Leeds and Sunderland both to stay up, but you look at the current league table, Burnley have obviously got some work to do. The last time that 2 of the promoted 3 stayed up was in 2020. Ball played forward towards Okafor. McKaylee will head it clear, but Stack was alert to win it back for Leeds. Left-hand side of the penalty area, tees it up for Goodmanson. His cross blocked. Stack is still there. Left corner, right-footed cross into the penalty area. Sirkin tucks in, heads it away. Tanaka keeps it alive. Aronson brings it under control, gets the shot away, blocked, and Leeds United are on top. Corner kick.
Yeah, I mean the ball put into the middle there. It was just inches above Dominic Calvert-Lewin's head, and for an absolute stick-on, had he got his head on it, that ball was going in the net. He doesn't miss those chances with his head just over his head. And Leeds, they are flying at the moment, and they seem to have forgotten their best with 3 at the back. They're playing with 2 at the back, and they look really on form just now. They're really hot, but they would love to make capital out of it while they are on top.
1-1. Leeds coming from behind to equalise. In comes the corner. Outswinger from the right-hand side. Adingra volleys the ball clear left-hand side of the Sunderland penalty area. Back it goes towards Stack. Uses his strength, lays it off. Aronson battling for the ball. And now Hertrauder hits it long towards Brobby. Goodmanson will head it away up towards the halfway line. Okafor challenges Rigg. It'll go out of play for a throw. It was interesting there, Pat, that I'm just looking for it in the programme notes from Regis Lebris, because it was a Leeds United corner and all you could hear was Sunderland voices. And Regis Labrie says, along the way we've shared so many unforgettable moments, but the impact of your support cannot be underestimated. Every cheer, every chant and every moment has helped push this team to perform at its best. And that was the Sunderland support there doing exactly that, supporting their team. Rigg now with the cross from the right-hand side, volleyed away by Stack. 57 minutes play, Hume on the halfway line. Back then towards Xhaka. He plays it short. Hertrauder is able to turn. Forward ball. Lefay showed too much towards Stack. He's been a good signing for Leeds, hasn't he?
Yeah, and we mentioned different players before the start of the game. And Stack, just a few moments ago, he found himself in the left wing. And he's a big, tall player. But he's got a few flicks and tricks. And they're not just for effect. I mean, he does it because it's the right thing to do at the right moment. He's a very, very skillful player for such a tall guy in the midfield there.
Commentary to come at 4:30. Crystal Palace against Tottenham. We'll get the team news from Selhurst Park in a moment, but Leeds are attacking with Bogle trying to burst his way towards the penalty area, and they get a corner kick as well. At the minute, Leeds look the more likely to score next.
Yeah, it's really strange. It was 50-50. Maybe Leeds, after they went a goal down, started to get more chances and a little bit more of the ball. But since the start of the second half, it has been almost all Leeds United. Each time they attack, they look incredibly dangerous from every angle.
Corner kick far side the right, playing from right to left. It's an outswinger. In it comes now. Stretching to head it away is Alderete. Sunderland had everybody back behind the ball. There was Bogle in the central area to lay it out to this near side. Okafor swings over the cross. Alderete under pressure once again. Adingra will try and run that ball clear, but Leeds are pressing high and they win the ball high up the pitch. Turn over in play. Strauch out towards Aronson. Back it comes. Tanaka on the stretch. Fires it wide. Again, Leeds come close. 1-1. Let's get the team news then. Selhurst Park, John Murray.
Which confirms that the Palace defender Chris Richards has not made it because of that cut on his foot in the Cup at Arsenal on Tuesday. So 4 changes from that Palace team. And Nketiah and Canvo are on the bench today. Henderson is back in goal. Devaney, Hughes and Klein all start. It looks like Lerma will be dropping back into defence. And just 2 changes for Tottenham, with Romero and Simon suspended. Danso and Richarlison come in for those 2.
Thank you, John. Sue Smith will be alongside John for commentary at Selhurst Park. Ampadu charging into the penalty area. Left-hand side, wins the corner kick. All Leeds United.
They need to do something, Sunderland. They need to change something. Xhaka's shouting. I can see him shouting at all the players around him. He needs to get those players that are his attack-minded players behind the centre forward back a little bit, help them a little bit, because there's far too much space in that midfield just now for Leeds United. They are rampant just now, but they've still not got the goal.
Sunderland 1, Leeds 1. An hour played on BBC Radio 5 Live. Leeds United with their supporters high up in that end away towards the left where they're attacking. Take the corner short. Okafor inside. Aronson's rising up at right-footed. Over the top and out for a goal kick. 1-1.
One very noticeable thing about Leeds as well just now, when they are attacking, the last chance they had there, couldn't get the ball on target. There were 5 blue shirts in that box there to cut it back for. Now, as a winger, you're looking for maybe 1 or 2, if you're lucky 3. There were 5 that managed to get in there. That just shows you the dominance they've had in these first 15 minutes of the second half.
That's the voice of the Scottish international, or the former Scottish international, Pat Nevin. That'll be a yellow card for Hume, pulling back on the shirt of Okafor. And indeed, he is booked his 150th appearance for the club, and that is the first yellow card of the afternoon. So just over an hour played. Trey Hume is booked. After commentary, incidentally, at Selhurst Park, it'll be 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. 08085 909 693. And then tomorrow, a busy night with a full programme in the Football League. So we'll be around the grounds from 7, as we will actually on Tuesday night, with 6 games in the Premier League and 5 in the Scottish Premiership. Stack, diagonal free kick, headed on by Beale, headed further on into the penalty area, headed out by Hume, collected by Goodmanson. Along the ground it goes out towards Beale, level with the area on the right. 1 apiece here with 28 minutes remaining. Leeds United have every outfield player in the Sunderland half, and they are the team who are pressing. Aronson turns, passes the ball back. Bogle, who's back-pedalled into his own half, now finds Strout. Goodmanson makes himself available on this near side, the left. There are always options now for the blue shirts of Leeds, Pat.
But one nice thing about Sunderland, I would say, they've managed to, they were basically on their own 18-yard line, but they've chased and they've harried, and now you see Leeds are back on their 18-yard line there, so they had to get a little bit of respite. I mean, the defence must be thinking, give us a break at some point in time in this second half, and that little bit of work that they did there, that's adapt to it. And have a look where Xhaka is just now. He was the man leading it, pushing a little bit forward than he has done before.
They go long over the head of Perry and all the way through to the Sunderland goalkeeper Robin Roos. Michele to Howard Trauder, out to Sirkin, the left back, still midway through his own half. They seem a little wary now, Sunderland.
They do. The confidence has kind of gone out of them a little bit, and you know, times before we've watched them, they've been able to make lots of substitutions and keep the energy levels really high. That's going to be harder just now. They'll get so many players that are going away to AFCON, and obviously they'll get injuries as well. But don't write them off in this game yet. At the moment they're second best, but they could have a second win.
Calvert-Lewin with the layoff. Stat comes forward, offside against Calvert-Lewin. Did look like he'd just been into an offside position. Sunderland looked to take the free kick quickly.
But that's the big thing about Leeds are actually out-muscling them as well. Look, they're playing well, but physically they're dominating them in all parts of the field. Now, the type of players that have got at Sunderland, that's going to happen sometimes. You need to get the ball down, you need to be brave on it, you need to hold it and help your mates out and always be looking for the ball. And they're capable of getting that back, but at the moment they just can't seem to get that foothold to get that ball in play with red shots and get 5, 6, 7 passes together.
Last season, Leeds United finished 24 points clear of Sunderland, who finished 4th. They, of course, were promoted in the playoffs. It was 2-2 here when they met in the Championship in October. A Junior Firpo own goal. Meslier, the keeper, was badly at fault, I seem to recall. And then when they met at Ellen Road, Leeds won 2-1 in February. Pascal Strout popped up with 2 goals in the last 12 minutes after Isidore had put Sunderland ahead. Just looking to see if there's activity down below, and indeed there is on the Sunderland bench as the volume increases from the Sunderland supporters. One apiece here on 5 Live.
Yeah, they need something, and whether it's a system change or the personnel change, they've been so dominated in this second half that they need energy from somewhere, and Isidore obviously be one of the ones that comes on. That's no surprise whatsoever.
Leeds though are in possession. Tanaka. Stack had made the run ahead of him, created a little bit of congestion as a result as he ran out towards the right hand side. There were already 2 blue shirts across on that right where Tanaka has actually stayed. Passes the ball down the line. Aronson flicks it for the Japanese international, who delivers an early ball into the box. Michele was able to clear it before Calvert-Lewin could get there. Leeds though have won the ball back. Here is Aronson, who's looked alert, but he's stopped and caught in possession. Sirkin able to turn is Lefay. Xhaka was going with him. Xhaka then stops and gets the ball. He's appealing for handball. Tony Harrington with a shake of the head says no, and Leeds again pick it up in the midfield area here at the Stadium of Light. The 2 players who are going to be coming on are Mayenda and Isidore, but Leeds are attacking left hand side. Okafor runs infield, just gets a little nudge before he could get the shot away. Still gets the shot away, it's blocked off his right foot. Second ball's though just been won back by Leeds. Stack, out it goes to Aronson. Aronson, good close control. Infield, Bogle. Ampadu's also there. Here he is, the Welsh international. It's a measure of control about Leeds, the way that they're playing, Pat.
That's what I like about them. We were talking before the game, we'll talk about that in a moment.
In comes the cross. Alderete will get there before Calvert-Lewin, but again Leeds are there. Aronson trying to force his way into the area. Sunderland get the ball up. Drops on the edge of the area. Leeds are still pressing. Ampadu can't get a clean strike. Okafor wouldn't sit for the overhead kick. Will drop towards Stack. Left-footed, blocked. Sunderland desperate defending. Get the ball away. Leeds though are still picking up those loose balls. Goodmanson trying to wriggle away from Rigg. Pulls it back. Might fall to Ampadu, who scored his first league goal of his career against Palace. That was blocked. Leeds though are seriously putting Sunderland under pressure, and Sunderland are looking ragged.
I think Ragged's been kind to them. They're absolutely clinging on at the moment.
Roos collects it. I half expected Roos to dive forward and hold on to the ball to offer that back line some respite.
Well, it's not a thing you usually see in the 66th minute, but you're right, that's exactly what you expected. Under so much pressure, panic station, just lashing the ball anywhere, sometimes just straight up in the air. Leeds at this point in time, if they'll think they must get a goal if they're this much on top, because it won't last for the entire game, you suspect.
Hume looks for Xhaka, takes it away from Strauch, keeps the ball 10 yards in from the right touchline, 30 yards out from goal. Hertrauder passes the ball out wide to Sirkin. Sunderland attacking now on the left-hand side of the area. Adingra sends over the cross on the stretch with Hume. It'll go out for a goal kick, and we are at 1-1 midway through the second half. Here comes the double change. Chris Rigg is going to be coming off, and that will be for Mayenda. So the teenager will make way, and I would imagine this will be like for like with Brian Brobby coming off. It is. Brobby's just walking off behind the goal away towards our right. So Wilson Isidore comes on to replace the Dutchman.
They needed some energy up front. The ball wasn't sticking up there anymore, and every time we went up there, Leeds United just muscled past. Those two players that come off actually look A, a bit exhausted, but B, have been muscled out by a much stronger defence that they've been playing against. So Sunderland will hope they will be able to stretch this game a little bit. Mayenda particularly got lots and lots of pace, put the ball beyond a little bit and push the game up and give your defence a little bit of a respite.
Just looking, I think Leeds might be making a change very soon. There is a number of substitutes warming up away towards our left whilst Pat was talking, and then one of the coaches has gone forward and has summoned a little bit of activity down below. Might be Metcha who might be coming on, as here is Okafor on this near side, and it'll be a corner kick. I was expecting that to be a goal kick.
There's a phrase you used to hear in football: you're not often right, but you're wrong again. I think that's the referee's got that one, hasn't he? There's been a couple of tough calls, haven't there? And I'm not sure he's got it right there again. That looked to me very much like a goal kick. However, given a corner.
That's at least the third one, though, that we've thought it was going to be a goal kick or a corner kick, and it's been the opposite. In comes the corner kick. Under pressure is Roos, and it's headed over the top, and that will be a goal kick.
Yeah, and they want to slow it down a little bit now, even though, you know, they're at home, even though Sunderland have had a good run just now. And they're rushing everything earlier on in the game because they're so dominant. They're not going to rush it just now. They're going to take their time. There's a little bit of an injury. It was going to be a head injury. It's an ear injury, isn't it?
It's the Hume, isn't it? Yeah. I'll have to make a note of that one, Pat.
You're not often right, but you're wrong again.
I think it was the delivery, though, the way you said it.
It's usually with a Scottish accent.
Well, we won't attempt that. Although my Scottish accent's actually quite good.
I look forward to hearing it. I thought I had heard it, but then I found out that was just the bar.
20 minutes remain, 1-1 between Sunderland and Leeds on 5 Live. Lefay. Ball up towards Isidore, heads it on. Beale will go with him, enters the area. Isidore, he was matched stride for stride by the Leeds central defender, and he was forced out wide, and he tried to cut it back right-footed, but just couldn't get the power, and there was no real threat to the Leeds goal. It's helped fire at the crowd. Okafor, stopped by Hertrauder. Tanaka plays it early over the head of Calvert-Lewin. It'll run through towards Roos.
Do you know what we're talking about, defending there? That's a defender's love, getting a tackle like that. You know, it doesn't get a big roar. You can't really do the fist bump after it, but he knows he's been brilliant there. He knows he's been strong. He knows he's waited to the right moment just to give the little bit of a nudge and win the ball back there in a dangerous position. So Beale was fabulous defender.
Whilst it's 1-1 with 19 minutes to go, if this was a boxing contest, would you give it to Leeds on points?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Not even with, much hesitation at this point in time, because, for a last... Well, back in a moment.
Here is Calvert-Lewin. Flag has stayed down, runs forward, controls the ball, turns, left-hand side of the penalty area. Stack wants it to feet. Wow, that was a late flag. In fact, that was the referee's whistle that went first before the flag was raised on the far side. I tell you what, that's VAR. Yeah. VAR's telling the officials that that's offside. Yeah. They say that VAR doesn't re-referee. That is an example that is re-referee.
That is really funny, because I thought, have I missed something here? Because the referee's made the decision before the flag goes up.
Exactly.
You say VAR, but is there... It may well be that the assistant referee over the far side has said to him there in his ear, by the way, I'm putting my flag up in a minute.
But if that's the case,
shouldn't do.
Why doesn't he just put the flag up first of all?
That's the rules. Not allowed to.
Anyway, Okafor, who's had a good game, comes off. 18 minutes remaining, and Mecha comes on to replace him. He's missed the last 3 with a hamstring injury, so he will come on. The German forward for Leeds United. 17 minutes remaining of normal time, and Leeds are still pressing for the winner. Calvert-Lewin looks for Mecha. Mecha on the slide.
It's actually a lovely ball though, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He took it inside there. I mean, he holds it up so well, Dominic, and he held it up well there. And he's played a little dink ball through him, saying, I don't know if you've got that in your locker. It's actually only about a yard too long. It was actually the right ball, just a tiny bit too much on it. So again, well played, Dominic. Unlucky.
Mayenda, Isidore beaten in the challenge first of all by Beale. Leeds have been so much sharper in this second half than Sunderland. So all those loose balls, they've been alert on every occasion, and it's 1-1, and they deserve to be level. There's an argument to be made. They deserve to be ahead.
They do. I would say they do deserve to be ahead. But you look at when they get the ball, Leeds now. Every single player now, the first ball almost always is forward. Can I go forward? Can I go forward? Can I go forward? And that was the way Sunderland were at the start of the game. Less so now. But Leeds, they don't want to do it slowly. They don't want to build it up calmly. They want to build it up with a zip going forward. And it's pretty classy as well sometimes. And certainly there was a chance earlier on that came from all the way from their own goalkeeper, and even the goal came from that sort of position. They are really good to watch, but it's not sluggish, it's quick.
Can't recall Sunderland creating anything in this second period. We've been playing now for 74 minutes. It's 1-1 on 5 Live. Commentary to come from Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace and Tottenham. Ampadu runs along the halfway line, played back by Bogle to Beale, and now Strauch still inside the Leeds half. Goodmanson on this near side, the left, playing from right to left, all in royal blue. Ampadu collects it, right to the centre circle, and out it goes. Aronson, Tanaka, Japanese international with that mop of jet black hair. Beale strokes it, Strauch, Goodmanson high up the pitch near side the left. Sunderland have dropped off. Mecha for Leeds, short infield. Ampadu challenged by Isidore, bounces inside the area. That hasn't been effectively cleared. Ampadu with a drive. It was on the rise, but it was straight at roofs. 1-1.
Again, brilliant play. They held on to the ball such a long time, but every pass was an attempted forward pass to try and create something. It wasn't just holding the ball for the sake of holding the ball. We are really enjoyable to watch. And funnily enough, I did Brentford against Leeds just the other week there. And I said to Alistair Bruce Ball around about this time in the game, do Leeds United look like a team that could be relegated? They don't, do they?
No, they don't.
They really don't look like a team that's even considering relegation, which is not what you thought a month and a half ago.
No, definitely. After they'd lost to Aston Villa, there were many who feared the worst for Daniel Farke after that home defeat. But they've shown a lot of fight since. Here is Mayenda, gets the shot away, blocked just inside the penalty area. Still remains 1-1. Tanaka goes long. It was Michele who's just been tearing a strip off for Enzo Lefebvre. He's getting quite animated. Lefebvre's forward ball easily read and easily cut out by Beale, who steps out of defence with the ball and passes the ball now towards Goodmanson.
What a noise you're hearing for the fans here, and the reason why you're hearing that noise is because it's absolutely old school, isn't it? It's not completely controlled. It is mad, it is wide open. There are half chances. There's been about 5 or 6 occasions in the last few minutes where a ball was played just slightly too long or slightly too short, and it would be a one-on-one with the goalkeeper either end. It's a really good open game.
Isidore put pressure on Ampadu, and the referee has adjudged that there was a foul there from Isidore on Ampadu and has given Leeds a free kick 10 yards inside their own half. It's 1-1 here on 5 Live, 13 minutes remaining. Been an absorbing game.
Yeah, it's one of the things that hasn't really happened a great deal. Even though Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored his goal, he's not really had a go at a header, has he?
No.
He's not put a ball into a position, and he's been looking so fantastic in that sort of area. And you suspect at some point, be it from a set piece or open play, Leeds will give him that opportunity if he stays in the field.
Incidentally, Johnny McCall, who got that record that Calvert-Lewin has made today, has equalled it, the first Leeds player to score in 6 successive top-flight games for 65 years. Leeds in that season, back in 1960, were actually relegated despite his 22 goals. Johnny McCall, they signed him from Bradford City, and he scored 45 goals in his 78 league games for Leeds.
You do realise they've not cheered the Leeds fans up by telling them that statistic there, have you?
No.
You can get relegated even though you're playing well and somebody's scoring well for you.
But it does come on the back of us both saying that we think Leeds will still stay up.
Yeah.
On the evidence of what we've seen.
And the evidence is the times that I've seen them since they've changed their system. And by the way, they're back on the back four again today. But the belief has grown in this group. There's no doubt about it. Every individual players just... They look different players. They look as if they believe they should exist in this league just now. Whereas I'm not sure they did beforehand.
And also that needs to be factored into the conversation as to how bad West Ham currently are.
No, they were not. The first game of the season I seen was here, West Ham against Sunderland. And Sunderland battered them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely battered them.
3-0 winners that day. We've got about 11 minutes remaining. It's 1-1 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Hume at a walking pace. Back to the central defender, McKaylee. So they're going to have to dig deep into their resources in the coming weeks. Sif Ballard is confirmed as 5 weeks out with an Achilles injury. And the players away at the African Cup of Nations. I mean, obviously there'll be that drip effect for a tournament that runs until January the 18th. As some teams are eliminated as a matter of course. Hume looking for a free kick, gets a free kick. And the ironic cheers from the Sunderland supporters as Sunderland awarded a free kick just in from the right touchline, 30 yards out from goal.
I think if you're making that tackle and you're stacked, you're quite surprised that there's a free kick given away. But we've got a little slow motion replay, and he didn't quite get enough of the ball. In fact, didn't get any of the ball. He just missed it, caught a little bit of the player. So free kick though it may be, soft though it may be, it's also in a very dangerous position now for Sunderland.
Free kick on this near side. Mind you, I noticed that Mozambique won 3-2 today against Gabon for their first win, so Renildo's stay at the AFCON might well be extended. Bertrand Traoré is Burkina Faso side of playing Algeria a little later on today. Xhaka will run over the free kick, Lefay to take it near side the right, in it comes, outswinger. Comes off a Leeds leg, it might have been Calvert-Lewin, and it was dived on by Perry. Definitely came off a blue shirt in that crowded penalty area. 10 minutes to go, 1-1.
It's one of those ones that could have actually gone in. It could have been an OG, which would have been a real shame for this game. This game doesn't deserve to be decided by an own goal. There's been so much good play, so many good performances. In the second half, the vast majority have been in blue for Leeds United, but just it's a little bit of a change from Maya Ender come on. He's had 1 or 2 runs and he does look dangerous.
Leeds United, judging by the actions of Daniel Farke, are not settling for the point. I think Nonto has just been called from warming up and will be getting ready for action. 9 minutes remaining, still 1 apiece here at the Stadium of Light. Daniel Farke says to his players, just slow it down, calm it down, as they take the free kick midway through their own half.
Yeah, Nonto, I mean, Leeds fans, I'm sure they're delighted to see him coming on here, because we all know about his skills and his pace. And you bring a player like that on when others are tiring around him, particularly defenders. You want to see him.
Ball might go all the way through to Calvert-Lewin. Alderete with a shoulder charge will marshal the ball safely out of play for a goal kick.
Shoulder charges are coming back into style now. I know it's a few of them recently, which up until the last year or two would definitely be given as free kicks. They're being far more lenient, the referees these days. And by the way, I'm looking at it a second time. He's not gone for the ball. I think he's taking Calvert-Lewin out there. And I'm not sure Calvert-Lewin's put the anchors on that much, to take the hit. I think he's a wee bit lucky there. Calvert-Lewin maybe should have got a free kick from about 20 yards out.
8 minutes of normal time remaining here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Sunderland 1, Leeds 1. Alderete coming forward with the ball at his feet midway through his own half. Now looks for the run of Adingra. Seems a long time ago since he gave Sunderland the lead, but he puts pressure on Bogle, and Bogle didn't keep the ball in play, and that pressure has produced the throw that Xhaka wants to take quickly, but there's still 2 balls on the pitch and he has to wait for one of them to be knocked off. Nonto's getting his final instructions from Farker down below.
It's a tough one to know who's going to come off for him. I mean, you suspect it's Arison, but Arison's had a very, very good game today.
Yes, he has. You would think by a matter of elimination it would have to be the American international, whose start against Crystal Palace was his first in 5. And certainly his performance, you would think, would warrant keeping his place in the starting 11.
Yeah, he looks very, very lively. I mean, if you don't score or don't make a goal, sometimes the performance gets overlooked, but when he's driven with the ball, he's looked particularly good, and certainly for a goal, he was there.
If we're unable to bring you any live reaction before 4:30 in the next commentary at Selhurst Park, you'll hear it at half-time in that game between Crystal Palace and Tottenham with John Murray and Sue Smith, as Mayenda lays it off slightly behind Herr Trauder, but he's still able to pass the ball forward, jumps over it to Cirkin, reaches Adingra, enters the penalty area on the left, wins a corner, closed down by Bogle, and all of a sudden Sunderland are looking to finish this game the stronger.
Interesting. Is that maybe the second or third time maybe at most you've mentioned Adingra in the second half? He's not got the ball at all. He looks so dangerous obviously in the first half, and he's got his goal as well, but he just hasn't been able to get on the ball, certainly not in the final third. When he got it there again, looked dangerous, won this corner.
Corner kick on that far side for Sunderland. In it comes now, flicked on by Alderete at the near side of the 6-yard box and over the top, and out it goes for a goal kick. Here come the changes then. Sunderland are going to make a change, and the Sunderland change will be Adingra, who's coming off. Romain Mundle will replace him. He's getting an ovation from the crowd here at the Stadium of Light. Scored his first goal for the club today.
He played really well in the first half, and I really enjoyed what he did. It's one of those fearless wingers who gets the ball and he just wants to go and attack a defender. If he loses it, he just has another go next time. So good to see that fearlessness. And
it's Calvert-Lewin.
That's what I was saying. I didn't really understand why you would take off anyone. It was not obvious who you take off. Arison had played really well in my mind. The Dominic Calvert-Lewin one, you wonder, you just wonder, you're saving him.
Yeah.
If there's any niggle at all, you don't take a chance with Dominic.
Well, they're away to Liverpool on New Year's Day. Then they've got a home game against Manchester United that's always a lively and tasty affair at Ellen Road on the 4th of Jan. And then they travel to Newcastle just a few days later on the 7th of Jan to Leeds United. So the games will come thick and fast. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, his injury record, of course, everyone's aware of how you need to protect him. And that might be evidence of that with 5 minutes remaining, still at 1-1.
Yeah, what they try to do here, they've taken the 2 goal scorers off. They're not helping us like it, are they? But no, I understand that, and it gives you a chance to put Mecha up front. I think he would prefer to be a little bit more central when he can be.
So 7 goals in his last 6 appearances for Calvert-Lewin. He'd previously scored 2 in the Premier League in 33. His purple patch has continued. This is the blue of Leeds United with Mecha. Holds onto the ball. Down the line it goes on that far side, the right to Tanaka.
Oh, wow.
And then the referee, Harrington, has actually given a free kick for the first initial challenge on Mecha on that right touchline. 4 minutes to go.
Do you know, there were 3 free kicks. Really obvious 3 free kicks in a row, and the referee tried his best to let it carry on. There was one that was a drag back early on there, and that was Michele who did it. Then actually eventually he comes in at the end, it's Getsuido, isn't it, who come in at the end and said, right, having no more of that, I'm stopping this attack. However, gives Leeds United a chance to put it in the mixer.
Leeds United then with the free kick midway through the Sunderland half, right hand side. The ball Easily headed out by Lefay. Mayenda tried to touch it past the first Leeds player, but then presented it straight towards Bogle. And the back pass to Perry has picked out Nonto. And Nonto actually will pass it back to Perry and swipes it long downfield, right-footed. Alderete knees the ball away under pressure from Mecha. Goes back towards Mecha. Alderete beats him in the air. Lefay, Sunderland with 3 players all getting a touch. Hertrauda, Lefay and then Xhaka. Up it goes to Mayenda. Lefay. Back. Mukiel. Up then to Hertrauda, who did very, very well to pass the ball out towards the right to Lefay. Hertrauda, the Dutchman. Xhaka, left-footed along the ground towards Sirkin. Mundell was the player who'd made the run forward on that left-hand side. 2.5 minutes remaining, Pat.
And it was on. It was on. The through ball was on, and he didn't take the chance to play it. In the Premier League, if there's a chance at a through ball on, it is on for a millisecond. You've got to play it. Sunderland didn't try it there.
This would take them to 28 points. Sunderland. It's the best start by a promoted club since Watford in the 15-16 campaign, as Xhaka's forward ball goes straight out for a goal kick. That was when Watford had picked up 28 points at this stage of the campaign under Quique Sanchez-Flores. They ultimately finished 13th. Tell you what, if you'd said to a Sunderland fan at the start of the season you're going to finish 13th when you return to the top flight, they'd have absolutely snapped your hand off.
They'd have snapped your hand off, and then on top of that, if you'd have said, by the way, they're a joy to watch, they are brilliant fun to watch, then that's kind of nice little icing on the cake at this time of the year. So yeah, I mean, they have been fun, but I think they've been outmuscled and outplayed for most of the second half of this game. However, the last 5-10 minutes or so, they've come back into it just a little bit, Sunderland.
90 seconds of normal time remain. 1-1 it is between Sunderland and Leeds. Xhaka to Lefay. Sharp turn away from Goodmanson. Ampadu, though, was effective in the midfield to win the ball back. Stack couldn't control it. Michele will clear long. Isidore can't get there because of Biol, who he headed the ball, he stayed down, clutching his right thigh. He's quickly got back to his feet when he realised that play was set to continue.
There certainly was a hit there. There was no foul, but there was a hit, so he wasn't acting.
Alderete carries it over the halfway line, the ball, and passes the ball diagonally out to the left for Sirkin. Mundell running back. Back to the halfway line it goes for Sunderland. How much added time there will be with the amount of substitutions? Could be looking for at least 4, maybe even 5 minutes. Here is Lefay trotting in from the right touch line. Mayenda able to turn back towards Hume, just tried to dink the ball in. Ampadu had dropped back to head it away, and Leeds put it out for a throw.
What an end this will be. The game started with a long throw from this man Michele. See if he can get it in, cause some sort of problem. The difficulty he's got, though, is that's a very tall Leeds back line, isn't it?
It is. Michele about 12 yards up from the corner flag on this near side, the right. In it goes now. It goes straight onto the head of Goodmanson, who presents it back to Michele. Laid back by Lefay. He gets the ball returned to him by Xhaka, but Goodmanson rolls away from him and clears. It'll be kept in play. 3 minutes. I thought there might have been slightly more than that.
There has hardly been a stoppage, though, has there? Other than the substitutions that we saw. But yeah, 3 I think has been a touch mean.
3 minutes of added time then here at the Stadium of Light on 5 Live. Sunderland 1, Leeds 1. Michele. Back then with Xhaka. Looks for the run of Lefay. Headed away by Goodmanson. Nonto has a swipe. Michele carries the charge forward for Sunderland and will win a throw as that ball spins along the ground and out of play for a Sunderland throw. Level the area on the right-hand side, 2 minutes remaining.
We just love Michele for doing that. He's playing in the right wing. You're supposed to be a centre-back, mate.
Here is Lefay. Michele wanted to take the cross there. Lefay beat him to it. That was repelled by the Leeds defence. Mecha tries to knee it away. Xhaka will tidy up there with his years of experience, sensing where the ball would drop and got there first. Ball is hit by Hume. Out towards Lefay, stays out wide. Leaves it for Xhaka. Xhaka on the ground. Hertrauda 6 yards forward of the centre circle in the Leeds half. Leeds now have dropped off. Every blue shirt back behind the ball. Haven't said that on too many occasions in this second period. At a walking pace is Hume. Not much options really. Goes to the edge of the area. Alderete were actually forward, but there was an offside. It'll be a Leeds free kick. And the game's petering out for a draw.
It is a little bit, but you've got to say well done, Sunderland. They were under so much pressure, but they clung and they clung and they clung. And eventually they've got a little bit of the game back, and as I say, the last 10 minutes they've been much better. And then the fact that both centre-backs, one of them playing in the right wing there, and the other one, Alderete, was up at centre forward. An open play, it tells you they never give up. I love that. I love that bravery about Sunderland this season.
Leeds United's mini revival will go on, it would seem. Unbeaten in, well, this will be in 5. 9 points out of a possible 15 as it's 1-1. And Sunderland would remain unbeaten at home. And it will be the first time in 15 years since the days of Steve Bruce that they've started a top-flight season unbeaten in 9. Is there time for a late winner? We are seconds away. They go long and direct into the area. Strout heads it away. Nonto sliced his clearance on the edge of the area. Bouncing ball. Ampadu holds off Hertrauda. And the referee looks at his watch, blows his whistle, and it's finished. Honours even. Sunderland 1, Leeds United 1. It's the least that Leeds deserve after Adingra had put Sunderland ahead just before the half hour. Dominic Calvert-Lewin tucked away the equaliser, and Leeds at times put the Sunderland defence under real pressure. Sunderland 1, Leeds 1.
It was a brilliant game. It was breathless, I would say, for 75-80 minutes. Kind of ran out of gas just about at the end, but that's because both sets of players gave absolutely everything. Really enjoyable. 2 attack-minded sides. Lots and lots of chances created as well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin keeping his goal-scoring run is really good as well. But what I always do in a 1-1 draw, or any draw, I look around the stadium at 2 sets of supporters and see who's clapping and who isn't. Both sets were clapping. I'm very impressed with the team.
Sunderland then, who started the day 2 points off Europe, moved their tally to 28, and Leeds United will claim this precious point as they now are 7 points clear of the relegation zone, moving away from West Ham United. Sunderland 1, Leeds United 1 is how it's finished.
All reflective, Pat Nevin, of a good point for both teams.
Yeah, to some degree. To be honest, I think Sunderland's a good point. I really do. I think it's a very good point for them with the pressure and the chances in that second half. And they were being outmuscled, and they were clinging on just so much. I don't think at any point in the game Leeds were clinging on, and even when they went a goal behind, I remember saying just before half-time, Daniel Farke will not be angry with them. They're playing well, they look balanced, they look good. They had obviously they had to make a change, a substitution, Rodon going off as well. The reaction to all of it was very, very good indeed. So in a way, I actually think they're slightly more disappointed that they didn't get 3 points will actually be Leeds United, even though it's an away game for them.
I'm just looking at the, sort of one of those, it's like a heat map, but it's the goal-scoring positions of Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Leeds this season, which is not the thing that I would normally look at, but it is remarkable. So it's every one of his goals is basically in a straight line, starting around the penalty spot and ending right in the centre of the goal about a yard out, which I suppose tells us Leeds are doing a really good job of playing to his strengths.
Yes, until today. Because that one wasn't in that line today. Yeah, it's in that line as well. We mentioned in the commentary that it is a weird thing, is it? Get between the posts, get yourself in a position where you can score. And that's exactly what Dominic was doing. And you're right, they're getting the ball to those sort of areas. He didn't get that many. On this occasion, he waited there a few times, went to the back post a few times. There was one occasion in the first half where if he had gotten to the front post, he would have had a tap in. He didn't, and the chance was missed. The thing about Dominic, classic centre forward, okay, I've learned my lesson. Next time I'll get beyond the near post. He did that this time, got the flick. There was a lovely little flick behind him, beyond the goalkeeper, and a classic centre forward's goal. And for the fact that he didn't have massive amounts to do in the game today, the things that Dominic Calvert-Lewin did do were exceptionally classy.
And we talked at half-time about how good the Sunderland goal was. I just watched the Leeds goal back again. This would be a good one for Match of the Day tonight. I'm pretty sure every pass from the goalkeeper until it got to Brendan Aronson was a first-time pass, back to front, nobody taking a touch.
Yeah, it comes from the goalkeeper and it goes out to the left, doesn't it? And they don't sort of dally on it in any way whatsoever. And I was explaining this to Deno during the second half there. The great thing about Leeds is very few of the passes were back. They were always forward and they were always for a meaning. It wasn't, we know what it's like with lots of games in the Premier League. You come to a game and pass along the back and you think, oh, come on, get on with the game. That wasn't Leeds today. And it was eventually going to work at some point, and it worked with bells on with that goal. And it is one of those ones where they want to show that one in the coaching, manuals and the coaching videos, etc. Look for the right word there. Stream, I think, is the right word there. They want to show that, to people that this is how you can do it. Everyone gets a touch, but they're meaningful passes. They're crisp passes. They're played with the right pace. They're played slightly in front of the player if you're going forward. Everything was right in that. So as you're spot on. For a coach, that's a dream goal.